Hi, and welcome to White Hat versus Black Hat SEO show. My name is Josh Bachynski. With me, as always, I have my Black Hat co-host, Clint Butler. Say hi there, Clint.
How you doing? Did you miss me last week?
Oh, I forgot to mute myself. Sure. Everyone has to take a drink. Sorry. So, we are the White Hat versus Black Hat SEO show. We are the finest SEO show on YouTube. We are the finest SEO show because we have the finest people coming on our show. And we use the finest method of collecting SEO knowledge, which is the scientific method, or as close to the scientific method as we can get. We do single variable experiments to prove what are ranking factors and what are not. We don't just make guesses like the rest of the industry. And if we can test it, we do. And if we can't test it, we use massive correlation studies as well to find out what is a true ranking factor and what is not. And so we're using actual scientific methods to find knowledge. And that's why we're the best SEO show on YouTube. And that's probably why we're some of the best SEOs that exist as well. So people are asking me, am I live? Yes, we're live. Come on. Calm down. What? People are Skyping me, you're live. Well, just go on the YouTube and you'll see if we're live or not. You don't have to Skype me. Anyway, sorry. So this is welcome to the show. So again, if you've never seen the show, again, we use the evidence-based method, and we go over kind of what's new in SEO. And I might show some experiments. And today's show is going to be all about site clinics. So today's show is all about you asking your SEO questions. We got a panel here of questioners who, when it's time to ask questions, can ask their questions and their SEO questions. And you guys can ask your SEO questions in the chat. If you're watching this live on YouTube, just go to YouTube. On the top right-hand side, you should see a chat window. And just make sure that Russell says he doesn't think YouTube is synced. Yes, it's synced. It's 30 seconds behind the broadcast so that I can just ramble on and not have to pay attention to the chat. But yes, that's the way it's supposed to be. Thank you, Russell, for telling me. Just ask your questions on the chat and on the top right-hand side. And if you don't mind putting a few stars or asterisks beside the question to make sure I see it, or put in all caps SEO question for Josh or something like that. That way I can be sure to see it and I can try to answer your SEO question on air. And go ahead and ask any SEO question you want. All the dirty little secrets you want to know about White Hat or Black Hat, we will tell you. We will tell you the truth. We are one of the only SEOs who will tell you the truth because we have nothing to lose. We're going to tell you the truth. So, we're not selling anything. We're not selling you a product, so we can tell you the truth about everything. It doesn't really matter. So we always start the show with what's new in SEO, and I've got some new experimental results to share with you guys that I thought were pretty fantastic. In terms of news, the indexing wars are still going on. People are still having trouble getting some of their content indexed. Sometimes they're not having trouble. Sometimes they are. Clint and I have both kind of brainstormed behind the scenes as to what we think is going on there. And the short answer is we don't know. It could be going on. This could be the new normal for Google. Google could be making changes back and forth. You never know. All I know is that I was able to, I think there's a threshold. John Mueller talked about there now being a new threshold and that they had to put caps in because too many SEOs were trying to index too much too quick. And so I'm going with that cap theory, I'm going to call it. And it makes sense because Clint sent me a perfectly normal page that seemed to be high enough quality to me. It was a little bit of a doorway page, but it was okay as far as I'm concerned. And he couldn't get it indexed, and I got it indexed, within an hour. So, it has nothing. I think it's just that Clint, you reached your cap, and I hadn't reached my cap for the week or the day yet. I think that's the simplest explanation, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that might be true. However, the account that I use is actually a work account, and I don't do backlinking. I hate it, so I have other people do it for me. And they do the indexing, and they don't use that account. So, and then we also submitted that through the webmaster tools, the Search Console, and it took you to actually kick it in. So, honestly, I'm kind of with you. I don't know. I guess I can guess and say they screwed something up with the mobile index, and they're screwing things up in Search Console, which in turn they fixed for that week. Remember when everyone was excited it was all back to normal?
Yes.
And then there was that new function in Search Console, and then the function was gone, and then the indexing sucked again. So it could be that that team is messing around with that, and they deleted something they shouldn't have, and when they thought they fixed it, they broke something else and had to revert again. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. And for those people who've been watching Google for a long time, you know that Google is a bunch of human beings just like we are, and they put out a release and they go, oh, that didn't work right, and they patch it and they patch it again, they break this and they patch it. That's the way software goes, guys, especially and at Google as well. So, you know, and if you're listening to this show and you're like, what indexing problem? I have no idea what you're talking about. Obviously, you don't hang out in enough black hat circles, and or obviously you don't index a lot of content, whether you're black hat or white hat or not. It doesn't really matter. You're not indexing a lot of content.
You're not manually indexing it. You're just doing it and letting it happen.
Yeah.
And it does happen. I've seen it still going on. But for me, I'm just not the kind of guy that wants to build something and hope that maybe somebody finds it. So
right. Yes. Well, I mean, for the last couple of years, Google would index stuff in seconds. You'd submit it, it'd be indexed in like 4 seconds and ranking in 4 seconds. You know,
or you can make your on-page updates, submit it to Google URL submit, and see the positive results or negative results immediately. And that doesn't work either.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still up in the air. So we're still watching this. We will report to you. Holly, someone mentioned Holly in the chat. Yeah. So Holly sent me a file, a page at the same time, which I use the exact same method to index it. And her page is still not indexed. But that was a much more doorway duplicated page. She's already indexed tens of thousands of these kinds of pages. And so Google is getting more selective. There's a cap put on people, but it's also being more selective into what it's filtering in what they call the caffeine algorithm. Caffeine is the Googlebot algorithm that indexes and spiders and crawls the web. You can search caffeine, SEO caffeine. You can see more information about that in the Googles. So we're watching that. We're going to keep you apprised as to what's going on. It seems to be working. It's all over the place. It's working. It's not. We'll keep you apprised with that.
And since he's being snidely with his comment, obviously you don't hang out with Holly. I hang out with Holly a lot, and I know exactly what she's doing. She's using 3 pieces of software to do bulk indexing. And the sites that the software is using are actually Chinese sites, because Holly does not give flying fuck where she gets, as long as it gets indexed. Mm-hmm. So if you go ahead and do that to your money page, and go ahead and let us know when you're ready for us to recover your website for you, because I'll charge you $1,200 a month, and because you were snidely, I'll probably charge you $2,200 a month.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the problem with the internet. It's like, is that sentence being snide, or is he just making a joke? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, there was no laugh out loud, so he's being snide.
Okay, so etiquette. Make sure you put a smiley face or a laugh out loud. Actually, that's good advice, because I've sent plenty of emails to people that were a joke. I meant as a joke. Yeah. I didn't put a smiley face or LOL, and I've gotten some nasty emails back. He says it was meant as a joke. Yeah, you're right. Holly is on a level of crazy indexing, and she has a very in-depth process to find out how to do that. If you want to know, join my White Hat versus Black Hat Skype group, where we continue the conversation, where there's other members such as Clint, Ted, Kyle, and Holly are also members as well. So email me to join my White Hat versus Black Hat private Skype group. And yes, I know you're in the Skype group. I don't mean you. Anyone else email me to join the Skype group. Geez, guys, I'm trying to get to the news. Okay, so here's the experiments that very recently, just today, have borne some fruit, which are kind of interesting. So let me share what's going on here. Okay, so we have a couple experiments here. Here's one experiment that we did. So again, in our experiments, we test everything, right? We test boring stuff. We test cool stuff. We test stuff that everyone thinks for sure is a ranking factor. We test stuff that everyone thinks for sure is not a ranking factor. Because quite frankly, until you have a scientific test, you do not know. And so here is my test site here. It's a garbage site ranking for garbage keywords that Google's never seen before, where I control all the results in the keyword, right? So please do not do this search and click on these results. But I just want to show you an example of what these pages look like. That's what they look like. They're all garbage, and I control every single page. And so I control the entire environment. They're on the same server, using the same WordPress plugins, everything is exactly the same traffic, which is 0, same links, same social, same everything. So if I make a change and it sticks, and I do that, I repeat the experiment and it does again, I repeat the experiment, it does again, I know with a high level of confidence, a scientific level of confidence, that I found a ranking factor. I know exactly what a ranking factor is. This is better than just making a wild guess as to websites in the wild as to maybe what ranked it or not. Not that it isn't knowledge, it is a kind of knowledge, but not as powerful as scientific knowledge. Now, with that rant done, so here's an experiment I did. We added span tags to an H1. So there was some questions recently about Kyle. I don't know how much of a backstory I want to give on this. I could go forever on this. So Kyle's been doing a lot. Kyle's in SIA, and Clint and I are members of SIA as well. This is the SEO Intelligence Agency. That's the main testing group. You can also join my White Hat versus Black Hat Skype group for some of these tests as well, the ones that I do, and to discuss SEO in generally. And he tested all the different factors on page of what are good factors. If you want to know what those are, email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I'm not going to go over the whole thing now. But there was a question. H1 was shown to be, surprise, H1 was shown to be a major place where you want to put keywords on your page. Duh. But like I said, we test everything, right?
That's not true.
Yeah. Yeah, because common sense knowledge isn't always, correct, right? You got to test it. And so we thought, well, what about if we put a span tag inside the H1 and malform it, or put like span H1 and then close the H1 and then close the span, or get malformed HTML in there and see what happens. The result so far is nothing. Nothing happened. So we will put span tags inside of an H1 on April 10th here, and April 9th or 10th, and there's been no change whatsoever so far. And the page was spidered the same day. So that doesn't seem to be a problem. So don't worry if your designer or your WordPress program went and stuck tags in your H1, like a B tag or a span tag in there. As long as it's properly formed, it still seems to work fine. We're going to continue testing that to see if we can break it, to see how terrible does your coding have to be before Google finally doesn't register that H1 anymore. The next test here is interesting. So this one, we going along the alt attribute test we did of sticking a keyword in an alt attribute for an image tag, we thought, well, what about named anchors? Because remember, long before JavaScript, Ajax was using what we call hashbangs, or people call it pound sign. Old people like me call it a pound sign, right? Long before the pound sign or hashtags, people were using a named anchor, which is you had like a link clicked, like at the bottom of the page, you had link to top. You'd click it and it'd take you to the top of the page, right? That's called a named anchor in HTML. And so what we did is we added a named anchor because John Mueller leaked a couple of years ago that they would read that. So we added one in with the keyword, and look what happened. Boom, it popped up to number 1. Now that we have to redo this test, obviously, because this page had been fluctuating a bit in history. So this is not for sure. This is just one test. One test is not science, doesn't prove anything. But it is a really interesting little piece of evidence. So we're going to redo this test, obviously. But that was very interesting, just a named anchor. And if you want to see what that looks like, which one was it here? It was supposed to be DK7AD. So this is a DK7AD here. If I look at don't click on the actual link, please. Look at the cache page. And in the cache, we'll view the source. And we're going to search this and this. And, oh, I don't see it. Where is it? I'm going to search this. It was about, when was it cached? April 9th? Yeah, that was supposed to be in here somewhere. Where is it? Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Oh, this is it. Look what happened. So I think he did this wrong. The tags didn't work. He must have, there's an error in the WYSIWYG editor. And so what he actually did is he stuck this in the body content. Let's see. If I go back and I go to the full version and I do a search for this. Yeah, he put it here. Look. See, so this is why you have to do tests. So all we tested was if we put another keyword in the body tag, in the body, will it rank better? And the answer is yes, it will. Because now it has a slightly higher keyword density than all of the rest of the stuff in the SERP. But this is what he was supposed to do, was put that in the code, is what he was supposed to do. So that's what we're supposed to be testing. So obviously we're going to test that again. I think that was Mads who did this. Mads is one of my crazy apprentices who does a lot of testing for me. So I don't know if he's watching this or not, but Mads, oops, that you did this. We already know that an extra keyword in the content is going to rank you because no one else has one. So being one more than everybody else is generally what you want to be, at least on par or one more than everybody else. Okay, well, let's check this next experiment and see if this one worked properly. This one, we did a div ID keyword test, and we did get the same result. It went up, but now we need to see if this got done correctly. So let me check this. Go back here. Again, never click a result because we know that traffic is a ranking factor as well. I will check this. Which one was it? It was supposed to be SciPack. Okay, yep, SciPack's number 1. cache it. When was it indexed? April 10th, exactly when it was supposed to be. What is this click here doing? Okay, so I'll view the source, and I will search this keyword. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, there it is. So there's not only is there a click here, he did 2.
What the hell?
So again, this is not telling me where the factor is coming from. This is not supposed to be done on this page. But we were supposed to be testing this.
Kind of interns are you running over there?
yeah, exactly. What happened? Usually Mads is quite precise in his testing, but also we got this in here as well. So we don't know if it was, this is what I wanted to test here. I wanted to test this one separately. I'd be very surprised if this was a ranking factor. I think this is fascinating that this could be a ranking factor here. So again, okay, like I said, very early days. I hadn't sanity checked any of these yet. So we're going to have to redo these tests. I'm going to have to remove either this instance here or this previous instance here to see. But one of them is a ranking factor because, bang, that happened. So I'll bet you it's the div. That would be my best guess.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to go back and redo it and see what's going on. But okay, because we have just stuck keywords just like in like your CS, like renaming your CSS files, your keyword and stuff like that, and that has had no effect whatsoever. It's not anywhere in the HTML. It's only certain spots in the HTML that Google looks for, and we just want to find what all those spots are. Could be a UL, an on-road list, could be a bold tag, could be a strong tag, could be this div ID maybe, or could maybe be this named anchor. Who knows? But that's what we're trying to test. So, and that's what happens with testing. You got to check out to make sure that it didn't break and nothing's wrong. And those ones need to be done again. Okay, so let's move right on to what I promised, the site clinic and the SEO questions. So if you guys have a site you want us to look at, put it in the chat, put a few asterisks beside it so I can see it. And you might have to do like site spelled dot.com or whatever. Otherwise, it might think you're trying to spam my chat here and I won't be able to see the message. So make sure you do that. We can see the message. While that's going on, I have I have a panel of questioners here. I have Amin, Gabriel, and Greensboro. If you guys have any questions you want to ask, now would be the time. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask an SEO question if you have one.
I do. Can I start?
Please do, Amin.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
All right. So my niche is HVAC and plumbing, mostly East Coast, New Jersey, New York, and I've been, doing SEO for these type of profiles for about 5 years, and every season change, I would conduct a competitive analysis where I see, basically, I'm trying to find out what my top competitive are doing as far as on-page and off-page optimization. Now, the thing is this, I frequently find, and this is every year, some of the competitors who never basically change anything to their pages, right, that are ranking. And not only that, but they're, how do I say, pretty much against all Google's guidelines,
right?
And design-wise, you got very old school design sites, very bad page flow and all that. Like you would wonder, why are these pages still ranking while we do all these efforts following all the guidelines, changing designs like sometimes twice a year, making sure the loading speed, mobile testing, everything that is advised to do is being done.
Mm-hmm.
Looking also at their link building, citation and trust flow, not up to the standards,
Mm-hmm.
but they are still ranking,
Right.
right?
Do you want to
Over the
share?
years.
You want to share one of your search queries, and we can take a quick look at it?
Let me
fine.
hold on.
Well,
I'm not sure if I can. You guys, if you guys gonna answer all the questions, I might just run a couple of queries and tests, and or just dig into some of the research that I have and show you. Actually, if you give me just a second, I might have one here, competitive analysis, opened, and this one
So
should
while you're looking there, I mean, while you're looking for one, I'll answer your question a little bit. So the first thing I would say is Cora. Cora is the most powerful competitive analysis software that's out there, and it's going to compare all the factors, way more factors you can ever possibly think of comparing. And so that's bit.ly/get-cora, bit.ly/get-cora for a 25% discount on Cora. You can also go to seotoollab.com/special.php. I believe it goes to the same page. So if you want the most powerful competitive analysis software, that's definitely that would be the end all and be all what you would want to run. If you want to share with me a quick little search query, I can check it on. And SERPworks is also quite good for just like a quick eyeball check to see kind of what's going on. It's super hard to reverse engineer as to why Google is ranking a page above yours. Every webmaster likes to think their page is the best, of course. But and I know you've been working on this a long time. You know, I've seen you around. We've been working a long time together. And but you know, it's not always about the nicest design. It is about the design that converts the best. And usually the nicer design will convert better, but not always, right? There's plenty of niches where an ugly old design is fine if the button of what they want to click is right in front of their face blinking, and they go, yeah, click, this is what I want, that kind of a thing. So Cora would be the best software to try there for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely give it a try.
Yeah, give it a shot, and that would be the best competitive analysis to check it out. Of course, there's a lot of local factors as well that Cora is not going to be able to check. Geographic location, review ratings, your business page, how well it's filled out, those kinds of things. So that might be another place you need to check as well there for sure. Okay.
Just related to this, what would be your advice for like strongly relevant local type of link building? You know what I mean? Like, for example, as related to the field that I just stated, because I tend to make to reduce the use of link building, and I want to make it like as quality and as relevant and as local as possible. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, for example, it wouldn't make sense to me getting .edu links to an HVAC site. You know what I mean? Because there are plenty of people who are doing that.
It would if it's a trade school. If you're getting you have a local trade schools there that teach that kind of stuff, then you can go there.
Vocational schools.
Go to other supporting industries. Like electrician will refer HVAC guys. HVAC guys refer electricians. Talk to the business owners that you're doing work for, and have them reach out and do some cross-linking that way. That's a great way to build each other up. Or you can go even more into that and just start making your own city directory and start sending links out from your city directory and promoting other businesses
already
on
done
there. Or you can just do press releases just to the local news stations if they allow that. I know most of those are hooked to APIs through the big distribution centers, but then maybe you get lucky and get an opportunity there. When you're talking about that white hat stuff, it's a lot of manual outreach, it's a lot of networking and talking, and it takes a fucking long time. If you want to know how to do that right, talk to Matt LeClaire. He's got a book, and he'll get a process, and that process is months for a backlink. The guy will put in months to get a backlink. So
Matt's been on the show.
And I have to balance that out.
Yeah, and I would just remember you got to do the competitive analysis first, because again, links is not necessarily always the biggest factor in ranking. Period. At least I would say that. Maybe Clint would disagree, but especially for a local, it's not always the biggest ranking factor either. If you've already got sufficient page authority comparable to your competitors, you don't need any more. You should be doing something else.
And Josh seen the topic of that article that he indexed for me. He saw the topic of that, and that one is sister one that we did for another niche, same exact page, Josh, and it's ranking number 4 right now, and I have 0 backlinks to it for a national term. So yeah, it's easy for everyone to say they want these high quality backlinks that are super relevant, and everyone wants that. But it's also just as easy to say, hey, I want to create beautiful and great content, and then the magic fairies will rank it for me. You have to promote it, and if that means you got to promote it outside of your market to get some backlinks to rank and to fulfill for your client, then that's what you got to do.
But it all depends on the competitive analysis, I think, to see what factors you do need to compete with.
Right. I would start with Cora. Cora has never failed me in local, and I honestly hate backlinking that much that Cora. I'll do the extra work with Cora before I'll build backlinks. So I just that's honestly, it's never failed me. If you're stuck, then you need to be looking at Cora and looking at some of your optimization stuff. A good resource for that is Jimmy Kelly. And I'm good actually, I do training. I pay for training all day long. I paid Jimmy $500 a month right now for analysis and, ideas on what to look for. And that stuff works. So I would focus solely on that foundation right now. Do like Josh says, run Cora, run through Kyle Roos on-page tool. Do look at to me, everything you're talking about, age of domains and all that stuff, I would look at the age of the domain. It sounds to me like the ranking because the brandings are trusted. So maybe you have to, buy a couple really old domains. I just did a scrape off Yellow Pages and got 10,000 domains off of Yellow Pages. Do something like that, and maybe rank this while you're working on the other, so you can fulfill for your client. But do the right things where you're talking about your long-term networking and all that other stuff. You get to 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. Like as Clint just said, there also another pair of eyes, an audit from someone, maybe, or Clint or someone else might not hurt as well. Let's move on and see if we can get everyone's question. Gabriel Greensboro, do you guys have a question?
Thank you, guys.
I got a quick one. 3-pack. Are the main factors different in Canada than in the United States?
No, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm willing to put I'd be willing to put $100 on an educated guess that no, Google's not going to have different local factors for different countries. The local factors are different than the global factors, but the local factors are going to be the same everywhere around the board.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, I just got a new client who's in Canada, and I've not had one in Canada. So
you just might find it a bit easier. Look for Canadian citations for your link building, and you'll just find it easier because there's a little bit less competition up there, and you're competing against Josh. How hard can that be? So.
Big city, so that's different too. But
yeah, it depends on the city. What city? Vancouver, Toronto,
Ontario.
Toronto, Ontario.
Yeah, it's not quite downtown Toronto, but one of the, in the suburbs, and it's a service business, so they do, all across. But
right, yeah. So Toronto is our biggest city, so yeah, there could be a lot of competition in Toronto for sure.
I'm in Toronto, so you're screwed if you're in my niche.
you better email Clint and see if you're
doing it in Toronto.
Join forces.
I looked at the competition, and that's not. I mean, I can take them, but I just want to make sure I wasn't playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
So why am I not getting the ranking I'm expecting? And because I wasn't. Maybe they changed the rules at the border or something.
No, not in this case. Not in this case. But you asked the question, am I playing the wrong game? Well, that's the question, right? And if you're not getting results, then obviously the answer is yes, you're playing the wrong game. There's some things that's worked for you so far that maybe weren't that were hurting you, but you were doing enough good stuff that you were still ranking. And now maybe because it's more competitive, that's evening out. And so again, checking with Cora is a good idea. bit.ly/get-cora. It's always the best way to do the competitive analysis to check. Getting an audit from a professional like me or Clint would be a good idea. Email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. And also you can join my Skype group, White Hat versus Black Hat, and you can get more support there. And a lot of people will just chip in and give you their knowledge there as well.
Cool. Well, I mean, I have no problem with, getting in a 3-pack in, I've got clients in San Francisco, Dallas. I mean, but I just, like I said, I just didn't want to be doing everything I would for a good sized city here in the U.S. and then find out that I'm hurting myself or not helping myself.
Yeah. To rank in Canada, you have to send Google Canada some beer. It has to be Canadian beer. If you don't send them Canadian beer, then they'll punch you right out of there.
Oh, okay.
AKA flavored water.
Okay, Gabriel, do you have a question you want to ask before I get to the people in the chat here?
Yeah, you know what? I actually have something that I've been curious about. If you have a lot of do follow outbound links, because I just started a web directory, and I'm offering free. It's a free directory, and I'm offering do follow links. I'm just trying to wonder, how does that impact? How significant is the impact in PageRank per se for that?
That's a good question. I don't know. People have been going back and forth on whether having outbound links on your index page is a problem. I don't remember. I think SIA tested it, but I can't remember the results of the test off the top of my head. I could try and find out if Clint wants to talk while I look on the website.
I'm trying to think of that test result too, and I can't offhand remember it, but here's what I would consider when you're building a directory. You, at some points, are going to hit a critical mass where you're going to be popular enough that the black hats are going to come. And if you have a good domain and it's got a lot of trust with Google, I'm going to go there and I'm going to build 200-300 profiles on your website. Especially if you're a do follow, because I can do a little bit more. I'm not one of those no follow, do follow guys. I think Google's counting both almost pretty much equally. I've ranked pages entirely with one no follow link. So, but from that perspective, I think, just kind of look at that in the future. If you're going to start charging people for listings, now you're essentially charging for a backlink. Or it could be determined that way, and then you might get in trouble with Google down the road. You maybe just don't need it. So, I would really balance how you want to do or how you want to handle that in your sales process. To me, do follow. That just screams is going to be a feature spam point for me. That's great. Keep building your directory and make it really powerful, so I can get some backlinks from you. But, directories are popular. Google likes them. It doesn't make any damn sense to me whatsoever to answer a search result with another place that I have to go search again. But for whatever reason, Google holds those in high regard right now. So I say good on you for actually taking the steps to make one. But, just balance that is something that you want to highlight. If you want to leave it as do follow and just let everyone get the added benefit of it without highlighting it, I would probably go that route.
So I checked the testing while Clint was answering, and the testing, SI did a test, and it suggested that a no follow outbound link did better than a do follow outbound link. I've done testing with outbound links, and there's never been a benefit. In fact, in one or two cases, there was a drop.
Yeah, Wikipedia killed it. I remember that test. Wikipedia, outbound Wikipedia link killed it.
Outbound to Wikipedia. So I'd be really careful. I don't think it's not going to help you rank, and Google definitely doesn't want to rank directories these days. So,
they're ranking directories. That's how UpCity they're slaying it for SEO terms because they made a directory on their website. They sell SEO software to SEO agencies, and they're getting their rankings. They got their rankings by creating that directory, and then they were smart and said, "Hey, let's monetize this directory for $50 a month, and you can be in it." And then if you pay them $1,500 a month, they'll make you a featured agency in your city. So, directories are killing it. Top SEOs is another one. There's a few others. We're making one. So I think, I think he's on the right track. I just kind of, page rank, page authority, trust flow, domain rank, whatever you want to call it. I think you're going to raise it up. As long as your pages don't have, I just use a rule of thumb of 150 backlinks. If I look at that and I have 150 outbound links, I have too many. So that's just a rule of thumb, and it might be something to consider. But I would leave them do follow. Why not?
Yeah.
You're not hurting anything.
This might be where the white hat and the black hat might have a slight disagreement. Definitely, Gabe, check to see the directories that Clint mentioned. Go see exactly how they're doing it. Because if they're ranking, then they're doing something special that I would probably not even call a directory. Maybe a blog plus a directory, or maybe they're doing something differently. I don't know. Or maybe something's changed with Google. But up until recently, Google has been speaking out against directories, downplaying directories, saying point blank they will not be ranking directories. And the only kind of directories they do rank are FindLaw or Yelp or the Yellow Pages, which are big, huge brands, really.
Home Advisor, Angie's List, UpCity. They're ranking. They're telling you one thing and saying another because they're getting called out. Because
it's possible.
To me, in local, that's contrary to their mission of showing related stuff. So if I'm a local person and I'm looking for local businesses, why in the hell am I have to go to Yelp now and search for you? Why do I go to Home Advisor and search for you? And the reason is they're financially invested in it, and people are calling them out. So of course their party line is saying that, hey, no, we don't show emphasis to directory.
Deny everything.
Yeah.
So I haven't tested it, so I can't say for sure. As being the resident white hat, I would always err on the side of caution. Go see how these other directories are doing it and see if they're not really directories in the 1997 sense. Maybe they're directories plus something else, blogs or something else, in which case then that's different. That's something that Google might rank. Okay, so, now I also promised to try and answer these questions here.
Oh, sorry. You were saying that UpCity, what was the other directory?
Just search for SEO in pretty much any major city, and you're going to see upcity.com in there. And that's a directory of SEO agencies that they built.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, if they work more like doorway pages still work. If they work more like doorway pages, then it might work better than just like, I'm thinking of like a 1997 directory with nothing but names and phone numbers and links, just like hundreds of them on a page.
That's pretty what it is. It just made it fancy. It's just, it's the SEO version of Yelp or super pages. It's the same thing. So
right. Okay, well, we'll see. Hopefully, Gabe, hope it'll work for you. So let's go. No, sorry, Liz, I wasn't drinking beer this week, so I'm going to answer the questions. No, I'm drinking some blue crap. I don't know what this is. It's who knows what it is.
That's why your teeth are blue now.
Yeah. My teeth are blue?
Yep.
Oh, great. It'll be a better color than normal, probably. Okay, so RK Castillo says tips on powering up G sites to help GMB rankings would be great.
Those are
are there any special tips for that, or is it just the rank is normal?
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to. It's how you build the G site to support the Google map, and now, just having your
stands for Google sites.
Exactly. Right? Just having a relevant Google site is not going to cut it. You have to have the supporting content, and then more importantly, it's got to emphasize that Google map, and then it's got to get traffic. And I've done tests, and you guys just do your own. I haven't done another one in quite some time. But I took over bail bonds in Los Angeles using Google site and traffic to that Google site in the maps in several neighborhoods with just sending traffic to that map because it was pulling the API saying this map is getting a lot of traffic, and it ranked it. You guys need to test it, see if it still works. There's been like 3 or 4 algorithm updates since I've done that. So, but really at the end of the day, it's no different than what you'd be doing to your local page with the backlinking, boost the power, send the traffic. Backlinking, boost power, send the traffic.
I mean, I don't know. I see a lot of people ranking with Google sites, and they do seem to have a bit of a boost. I don't know. We've never tested it. I'm going to test it. That's what I'm going to do.
I have not. Yes, SIA ran one, and it was actually the Google documents that were sending all the power, which was kind of surprising.
Google document links.
Yeah. So yeah, it would be good to see that again, since, like I said, that's been through several iterations of algorithm updates. I'll say that I make those. I sell those Google Drive stacks, and they're just like anything else. You have to send power to them for them to be any use, and then you always got to watch them and make sure they're indexed. So
do they have any inherent boost themselves, or if you have to send juice to them and rank them as normal, then they're not really any better other than anything else?
Well, yeah, then on themselves for an easy term, they're going to rank. Honestly, I see more maps inside the rankings than I do Google sites, and I think that's probably inherently on purpose. But I've done some really bad stuff to those sites. I'm getting ready to run another test where I'm creating a Google Cloud link, a Google Cloud website, and I'm going to send a link to a Google site, and I'm redirecting a web or a domain that I bought with 1 million links on it to the Google Cloud link. And I'm going to see if that will pass through. And it'll either rank my website, or tank my website, or rank that Google site. And, it's just, I honestly, I'm on board with the Google Drive stack stuff, or else I wouldn't sell it. But it is not as great as everyone makes it out to be. Yeah.
Well, I have it in my list here for my apprentices to test. It should be an easy enough test. I'll just make a Google site with the same keyword as some of my pages, and my EMD and PMD I already got there, and I'll just see where it ends up in the shuffle. I can tell you exactly how powerful it is.
Yeah, and that would be a good one. And then also another good test would be a backlink from there enough to move the needle.
Right.
Kind of duplicating what they did. I think SIA did it with docs, sheets,
all the Google products,
slides, and maybe drawing. I'm not sure about
all of them. I remember seeing that one. Yeah. So I mean, So I'll test that out. So, but I personally, you want to make a bet, Clint? I bet you it doesn't rank any better than the PMD or the EMD does.
I don't think it would rank any better. I think the real value in that thing is it passing power because of the domain it sits on,
or some kind of trust authority because of the domain it sits on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then no bet taken, because we think the same thing will happen, but we'll find out. Christopher Risme asks, not really for audit, but question: if a site has 2,500,000, that's 250,000 spam links after a bad SEO gig they did, should they worry, or will they be fine on doing work as normal now? No actual Search Console checks. Christopher, I can say with some authority that we have tried, Clint and I have tried to negative SEO pages, and we've sent hundreds of thousands of the crappiest, spammiest links you can think of, 100% exact match anchor text to a page, and it is still ranking #1 very strongly. You cannot negative SEO a page through links. At least we can't find a way of doing that through testing. If you have not bubbled up, Google's just ignoring bad links now. If you have not bubbled up for a manual action, then leave it alone. Definitely do not use the disavow. I've tested the disavow like dozens and dozens of times now. There's no evidence that it does anything positive or good. The only thing the disavow file is for begging for forgiveness after you've received the manual action versus site. If you get a manual action versus your links, if they say we've selected some links because they look spammy and we're going to ignore them, fine, leave it alone. You don't do anything at all. You just don't buy any more links like that. If you get because they've already taken the links away, you don't throw more links in the disavow file and say, hey, you don't self-incriminate yourself essentially. And if they give you the manual action versus site, then you've had a penalty. Now you have to actually delete some links and then disavow the rest and then beg for forgiveness. That is the only time, and I mean the only time, you use a disavow file. I have proven this conclusively scientifically again and again and again and again. Gary says, I would love you beautiful geniuses. Well, thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere. I will love you beautiful geniuses to cast an eye over on this one if possible. Okay, we will do that. So garageequipmentonline.com. Let's check it out. Let's see what we can see here. So while I get that queued up here, I'll share my screen. So here's that website. Just really quickly, this is the query that Amin sent me that he's trying to compete with in New Jersey, commercial air conditioning in New Jersey. So like I said, using Cora would be the best competitive analysis you can possibly do. But if I want to take a quick look with, if you're talking about the map pack, SERPworks, my SERPworks plugin is not going to help. But if you're talking about the info, so first off, in terms of the map pack, you definitely want to be the most positive reviews possible. They will float in ones here that don't have any reviews, of course. Reviews are not everything, but it's location, reviews, your My Business Place listings, your schema, your on-page, your conversions. Pigeon is a Panda for local. So yeah, that all has to be in place as well. Then if we check it out here, let's see what we get here. We get this one, priced on air, thermal service.
Look at the age. It's exactly what I said. Look at the age. 17, 17, 19, 21. Those are all old domains. Way old domains.
Oh, yeah. 17 years old, 21 years old. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
And then you get the one little outlier right there, 8 years old.
Yeah. Now, Cora tests how long the page has been in the index, I believe, and that's the one that really matters. But if these pages have been in the index for a long time, they do have a lot of trust and authority. The average page authority here is 19, so the page rank of these pages is around 2. So again, you don't need a lot of links to rank on this SERP, and the average trust flow is 10. You don't need a lot of trust flow to rank on this SERP either.
Nope.
So really, when it comes
old ass domain.
Get an old domain that's been, buy one of these domains. It's been in the index forever. Check the keyword density. There is no keyword density for that. No one is optimizing on page for this. That would be the first thing to do. Use Kyle's tool and optimize the on page for this if you want to rank, below the map pack here. The other problem here is that I can see is this one has a lot of spammy links. A lot of its links are being ignored. Same with those ones are not too bad. Same with this one, and same with this one. So this one doesn't have any H1s or H2s. So the on page for this one is not optimized at all in any one shape or form. So that's my 10,000 foot view. That's what I would say to do, right off at the top there. Because I said I would just check really quick for you. But again, an audit and Cora is kind of what you need to check out, or the stuff that we said could maybe get you a bit of a leg up. So let's look at this one here that we got in the chat to take a look at. It's obviously some kind of garage or something. Garage equipment online. Okay. So that tells me right away what it's about. Garage equipment online. But quite often, exact match domains are having trouble in the SERPs if you don't have the relevance, if you don't have the quality. So I don't know. I guess that I might call them. I guess this might make some sense to me. Let's check the basics here. So let's check what Google says. How many you got in here? 179 results. Do you think that's what it's supposed to be? And start equals 990. And it's actually got 176 results. So yeah, that's about right. So I don't know why that page needs 176 pages, but maybe it's products and stuff like that. Info. This is your actual canonical URL as far as Google's concerned. Yeah, that looks correct. That looks fine. That's all fine. What does the cache look like? Is there any problems there? Nope, the cache looks perfect. It looks like exactly like your design. That's what it's supposed to look like. So that's perfectly fine. So from a 10,000 foot view, everything looks fine so far. On your main domain, you've got interesting. Your index page has more page authority on average than the rest of your site, especially if I set this to 100. I can't remember which one it is I can't remember the code to switch it to 100. But and it looks like it doesn't have as much trust flow as normal, but it does have more page authority than normal. That should be plenty of page authority I don't know if your on page is set up properly. You got to use Kyle's tool or email me to get stuff there. I see you're running a blog. Now, this is another place where Clint and I have a friendly disagreement that I'm not a fan of blogs. I don't think they're going to help you rank for any kind of product-based query. If you could give me in the chat any kind of product-based query you want to rank for, if you could send that to me in the chat, I can check that as well. What's that, Clint?
Garage lifts.
Garage lifts. Yeah. Now, here's another problem. You have garageequipmentonline.com, but you're trying to rank in the UK. So in your search console, you definitely make sure you want to set your country specification as .co.uk. And that should be fine. According to Google, that'll be fine, according to John Mueller. But John Mueller doesn't always tell the truth. And people ask him the wrong questions. People ask John Mueller, is it okay if I have a .com domain and I'm trying to rank in the UK? And he'll say, yeah, that's okay. But what he means by that is, no, Google's not going to send drones to your house and bomb you if you do that. Like, it's not the end of the world. But it doesn't mean it's giving you a boost. In fact, it might be a slight demotion. So definitely in Search Console, you should have it set to co.uk. Let me check just some other more basic things. Let me just check the code here really quick. See your title tag, garage equipment, vehicle, workshop, machines and tools, geo. I don't like this title tag. I would write this definitely differently to try and entice clicks. Doubling up garage equipment in the title and in the host name, that might be a little too much. You might want to use some variations here. You probably want to use Kyle's tool to get your variations. If you don't know what I'm talking about, email me. And let's see if you have any title attributes. You do. These title attributes here in your anchor tag, I'm hoping you can read that and see that. These do not help you in any way, shape, or form. We've tested this. The title attribute gives you no boost whatsoever. In fact, it might push you over a threshold for, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. You can't see this. Here's what I'm talking about. This title tag I don't like that I mentioned before, and this title attribute here in your anchor tag is not helping you at all. I've tested this many times now. Title attributes in anchor tags and title attributes in image tags don't help you at all. You want an alt attribute, which is going to help you. And you got it there, Garage Equipment Online. That is the boost that you want there. Again, you want to use Kyle's tool to find your variances, your frequencies, because you don't want to go over threshold. So get rid of those title attributes for sure. They're not going to help you at all. Get rid of these. Only use alt. Get rid of the title attribute. You don't need them at all. And anyway, they don't help you boost, and they might put you over. Now let's do something else here. Let's check your speed, which is the other thing I love to do. And I'm going to use for the speed test, I'm going to use the web page test, which is my favorite one to use. Now, I should use something over in London because presumably that's where your customers are coming from. And we're going to check 3G, and we're going to start that test. And we're going to see I'm waiting behind 14 other tests, so that might have been a bad idea. That might take a while to do. That's where you should test it from there. Clint, do you see anything about this site in particular you want to mention?
I was looking through it. I kind of agree with the title tag. I would change that because that's your brand. And I would actually focus on your highest selling product for your homepage or your most profitable. So the garage lifts term, that's why I selected it. Just way more traffic volume, and it'll probably get more money out of it per sale. So other than that, I'm kind of right in line with you so far.
It doesn't look like a bad site. It's not ugly. I don't know how well it would convert. I would install something like Crazy Egg here, you can check various pages and like check this page out here. It'll show you where people are clicking. It's a heat mapping software. It'll show you where people are clicking. That's fantastic to see if your conversions are going well. This page had 1,100 visits and 1,815 clicks. That's a great kind of interaction rate.
Yeah.
And if you check the scroll map, you'll see what people actually saw. They saw this information. That's your average fold right here. And then down here, only 59% of people saw this area here. Look at that. So even though it's not that far down, you think people would be seeing it? Nope. Only 59%, which is not much. So this subscribe by email is totally useless here. No one's, not as many people are seeing it. And down here, no one sees at all, right? So that's a problem. I would use Crazy Egg. I like that. Or is any other kind of pieces of software like that? Waiting behind 13 other tests. This is going to take too long. I'll go back here. Now we'll just go back to choosing. So remember, you should choose the area closer to you because that would give you a better test. But I'm going to choose Oregon, USA, because apparently nobody in Oregon ever does testing here. I'm writing at the front of the queue now. So that's my secret area I like to use there.
How come you don't have SERPworks turned on here? What's wrong with you?
Oh, I got SERPworks turned on right here.
No, there's another. If you click on the SERPworks tab in your About toolbar.
Yeah.
Click on that. Let's see if you have it turned on. No, I can't see it. Well, let me see the drop down. Stupid Google.
Stupid Google. It's all Google's fault. So
SERPworks shows up on the website too. So if you're not seeing that icon when you open in the website, you're missing out on probably half of the good stuff that you get out of SERPworks.
Oh, well, geez. I didn't even know that. Geez. Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to have to go play with that after, but okay, for sure. So on Garage List UK, I checked that out for you. And on average, again, we're not seeing a lot of page authority on a lot of these SERPs. Like this is a page rank of 2, effectively. 2 to 3, because the domain is 3. But the average is less. It's 2. So you need a page rank of 2 to rank for Garage Lifts UK. Again, it's the keyword density that no one is optimizing for. It's the on-page stuff that no one here, like these guys aren't even doing, they even have any H1s or H2s, right? So, and this is the one that Google thinks is the best because they're getting the site links. So let me see, Gemco, HRJ Garage, SMT, Auto Mechanics, Garage Equipment.co.uk. See, this is the one that Google is going to be putting on here. So here's 2 of them. Okay, so here's another problem. 3 of them. Okay, so this is going to be another problem. Not only is it difficult to rank EMDs sometimes, even though they get a boost, it's going to be especially difficult when you already have a competitor called garageequipment.co.uk, which is more specifically the keywords you want to rank for, and presumably, and also has the co.uk. It is highly unlikely Google is going to filter garageequipmentonline.com here unless you have, and look at the quality differential. Google has seen fit to put 3 different, right? I'm not getting that wrong. Garage Equipment, co.uk. That's the same site on all these 3 ones, right?
Yep.
And look at this. It put the HTTPS one here and the non-HTTPS here.
That means they didn't have their on page, their technical SEO is screwed up, so they don't have the redirect set up right. So essentially, that search query is so bad that Google is like, whatever, we'll just show the copy of this page.
Exactly, you're right. So I mean, this should be super easy to rank for, theoretically speaking, because this is a very low quality SERP because they're taking 3 pages from the same site. Although this looks like this is messed up. They haven't done HTTPS correctly. So, on the one hand, they've got a much higher quality than everything else here, Gary. But on the other hand, they are ripe to be taken off here because they didn't set up their HTTPS right. And you can, if you set up your stuff right, and you get the authority, and you get the quality and the conversions, and you got the speed, you can convince Google. You don't need a lot of page authority to convince, and trust flow. The trust flow here is like a page rank 2 as well. It's 16. It's nothing. So just a few good placed blog posts from trusted sites that you might want to email me about. You could probably supplant this website here, and you could be the one on here that Google will be selecting, because these guys, they don't have very much going on here, and they've got stuff messed up. And these other competitors here are so low quality. If Google's going to put 3 pages from the same site on the SERP, everyone else here is not converting well at all. They're not very relevant at all.
And if you want to do some social engineering, you reach out to all the people that are linking to that site. Hey, we updated our website. Can you give us a backlink? Here's our URL. and most people won't.
That's great. Okay. I hope everyone understood what he just said there, because that was genius, right? Just to make it clear, in case you didn't notice, he's saying, Gary, who owns garageequipmentonline.com, you should find out whoever links to this site, email them and say, we just updated our URL. Can you please update your link? And they'll fall for it because the domains are so similar.
Yep.
So all you need is SEMrush or Hrefs to compare the backlinks of this guy and find out all his backlinks. And SEMrush will automatically make an email field for you to email all of them. And so if you want SEMrush, I think my link is bit.ly/get-SEMrush, I believe what it is. So that's, you get, I think, a month free or something like that. So check that out. And the last thing we'll do here for Gary is we'll check out your speed test, which is not fantastic. But again, this is from Oregon, but you took 1.8 seconds to first byte. You definitely want to slow that down. It took a full 2 seconds or almost two seconds to render it. It was all images for the most part, and JavaScript, 17% JavaScript. You don't need to load that much JavaScript, quite frankly. And again, the bytes were images and JS and CSS. Look at that. The JS and CSS were the two biggest pies other than images. You can cache your static content. You can compress the transfer. And your first byte time is sucking here. Let's see what's sucking about it. It took you over a second just to get your DNS and your SSL connected. Your DNS connected in 0.5 seconds. Your SSL took over half a second to get that. So that's another thing you really got to worry about. When you convert to HTTPS, you got to find a certificate server that is faster than half a second, because then you're eating up a whole of 1.5 seconds just to get your DNS round trip and your TLS round trip there. Look at all the default CSS and all this time it took to load that, and media query CSS. So again, and this JS here took too long to process as well. And AXD files, whatever these are taking too long to process as well. So you need to remove, you need to take that down, and that's going to help you rank in the future.
Also, keep in mind your host might be in the UK. If your host is in the UK, that's going to significantly change the results of that tool. So go back and do what Josh did and stand in line.
Yes. Yeah, and see what your speeds are in London, or if you're Manchester, wherever your customers are coming from. If there's a specific city they're coming from, do that city. If you can get hosting in that city, that used to be a ranking factor. I don't know, Clint. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. It used to be a ranking factor, or at least I thought it was, and it was a big rumor that it was, that if you wanted to rank in Seattle and all your customers were from Seattle, if you could get Seattle hosting, a Seattle IP address for your server, it would give you a local boost. Do you still think that's a factor? Did you think that was ever a factor?
I don't know. I think, but today with all the cloud services and et cetera, I don't think they would even consider it anymore. So,
yeah, John Mueller does downplay it as well. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of an old school guy that, if you can get, because if you hosted a really fast data center in your city, you can get the speeds down quite low.
Yeah. And if you're only serving your city, then go for it. Plus, your host is where you can reach them. So if they suck, you can go strangle them.
Right. Yeah. You can drive. That's another reason why I like hiring people in my town, because I can drive down there and bang on the door. Hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Have you seen my chest here? Don't mess with me. Okay. So let's see if we can answer the rest of these questions here. Joel says he's purchasing my full audit. Joel, you're an intelligent man and a fine judge of whiskey, and a fine judge of SEO as well. And I can run a site clinic, but not today because I ran out of time. So email me, Joel. I'll help you out. Some people were asking questions. They're from my private Skype group. You should definitely join my Skype group. Email me to join the Skype group at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You get we extend the conversation. You get more videos. You get more experiments. You get more knowledge. Someone asks, do traditional HTML sites rank higher than WordPress sites, for example? The answer is no. Owen asks, do links that don't show on the page but are in source code count? That's a great question. So the answer is probably yes. I believe the latest tests show the answer is yes, they will count.
In that situation, you probably, if you're doing it, you probably have those in the comment section so they don't show. If you're having someone else do it, they're probably on the SAPE network, which is a link inject. And those work, they're just risky.
Yeah, SAPE is kind of like the Russian black hat, holy crap links. And
Yeah.
I mean, I said the word Russian, so just, everything else going on in the news, you just factor that in there. So
there's a Chinese network now too. So
even better.
Yeah.
It keeps on. Next will be North Korean links you can find, right? So, but they're usually pretty powerful, and those guys are quite good hackers usually. So they usually have some power for a short time, but as Clint says, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
I can test this. This is something I can test. Let me go here. That's the next thing I'll test. So I don't know what you mean by links that don't show. I'm going to say div hidden CSS links count. So
You can actually, you know how you use microdata, and you can use the microdata setup, and there's you can change display to no, and it won't show it.
Mm-hmm.
So that you could probably test it that way.
Yeah, that display to no would be the same thing as putting display none in the CSS.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll test that. Thank you for the test suggestion. That's a great idea. My guess, I don't know, Clint, you want to make a bet on it? I suspect that yes, the page rank will be counted. What do you think, Clint?
I think it'll be counted too. It's
okay.
In the,
we agree again. This is supposed to be a debate show. No, it's fine if we agree. So no dice there on a bet, but we will find out what'll happen. If anyone wants to bet me in the chat, put it in there and we can make a gentleman's bet or a gentle lady's bet, whatever it is. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, the stupid thing moved. Oh, geez, we got a lot of questions here. Okay. Owen says, when setting up an expired domain PBNs, should you keep it in the same niche as it was before? I've heard John Mueller said that if the niche changes, the old links don't count. Is that true? It's true John Mueller said that, yeah. But I will refer to Clint if that is true in practice.
When you're buying those, it's preferable that you just keep it in the same niche because it's easier to keep the relevancy, and all the backlinks are in theory relevant to you. So you just get more out of it. You can repurpose it, and those links actually do count. John Mueller's full of crap. But then again, they're not as valuable because now they're not relevant to you, what you have on the new site. So they're not, they're just not as important, but they still count for the site.
Yeah, the way John Mueller explained it is that they supposedly have an algorithm to detect when site A is going along and it's offline for a long time, and it was on HVAC and now it's on chiropractic.
Yeah.
And that algorithm is supposed to detect that change. The way you're talking, Clint, maybe it does, and just the links are not as powerful because it switched.
Yeah, I think it's because you're changing the relevancy of it. But then again, if you buy an expired domain that's been out of it for three years, what really good backlinks are they really going to have anyway? So if it just dropped, then it expired, went through the 60, 90-day process, and then you picked it up, and keep the same niche, and then use it that way. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's usually
expired, the way. In my circles, we got two schools of thought. Is that they're still working. You can follow the Matt Diggity thing and not put any links on them for 60 days, and then after 60 days, all of a sudden they're magical and powerful again. Or in our space, we just build them and point, and they work. And then we've seen other people that are building out really good sites, but they're repurposing them and then they're not working as well. And I just think it's because you're repurposing it. You make an HVAC site, a plumbing site, that's still a service niche, so it'll be all right. But you make an HVAC site to sell an author's book, then you might have, it's going to be obviously it's not the same. So.
And just so people understand what Clint's talking about, so we have this site. It was an HVAC site. It had HVAC trades links, and now you're changing it to chiropractic. It's got HVAC links on that topic going to chiropractic. It's totally different. So that's the general rule of thumb in ye olde black hat communities are trust, topic, and traffic. So you got to get clicks through the link, and you need trust flow, and it has to be on the same topic for it to be of maximal relevance. I would use that rule of thumb probably because all the link testing I do in my garbage environment have filter that out as important, because there is no topic because it's a garbage words with a bunch of garbage words. Google can't tell what the hell if it's even in English or not. It's like, do you want a different language? It has no idea. So I'm not testing that portion of it when I'm throwing 100,000 links at a page. Okay, let's see. Oh, Gaz says, thanks for your audit, Josh. We are now hitting the top 3 on first page. Yes, you're welcome, Gaz. It was my pleasure. You too can get an audit. I didn't even pay Gaz to say that. That was totally unpaid for. Gaz, I'll send you your money after this. So you can get an audit too. Email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I guarantee page 1 results if you follow everything in my audit. Asterisk, if you follow everything in my audit. One time a guy emailed me back and said, you sent me an audit. Now I'm not on page 1. I want my money back. I said, did you do everything in my audit? He said, no. I said, well, I'm not giving you your money back. So you got to do what I say. Denise says, how valid is Yoast now as an SEO tool? It's not valid at all. The way it prefers you to write seems really unnatural. What's now important now in writing content? You want to write for the human, but you also want to use Kyle Roof's SEO tool for page relevances, and or Cora does functionally the same thing. Especially the new version coming out will do the same thing of comparing, title to title, H1s, bodies, bold tags, alt attributes, and compared to everyone on page 1 and tell you what frequency you want to be in.
Yeah. To kind of expand on that, I use Yoast. The SEO analysis settings are turned on, so I can use the red and green lights to know which ones I've updated and which ones I haven't. That's the only reason that thing is even useful anymore. Turn off the readability analysis. In general, as a tool to set up your SEO, your title tags, meta description, OG data, it's easy. But I'm testing a couple other ones. I'm testing out Squirrely. That one I like. There's just too much other crap in there. And then there's one other one I'm going to test out too. And then when he's talking about the writing the content naturally, what we tell our clients is, because they always ask, how do I write this for SEO? And I tell them, don't bother with it. Just write it how you're going to write it, and then I'll take care of the rest. And that's when you can just kind of inject your tags and your H1s and H2s and strongs and all that stuff into there afterwards.
Okay, let's see if we can get the rest of these questions here. The Firmanuk also asks, does buying an old expired domain add value if you create a new or similar site using it?
I think we had that one already. Yeah,
it's very similar to the one that was asked. The answer is yes. As long as that install Search Console, make sure it doesn't have a penalty on it. That's why they sold it.
Yeah.
And by the way, Search Console is not always going to tell you the truth there either, by the way. There are hidden penalties. So I'd be very careful buying a domain. But theoretically, yes, it should help, because if it already has 1,000 backlinks on HVAC and you want to use it for HVAC, you've got those links already going. Ostensibly, unless it already has a penalty, it should do well. I would buy 4 or 5, see if they still rank. If they do, choose the best one amongst them. Use the rest as a PBN. And
if you don't want to do PBNs and you're lazy and don't like link building like me, you just buy the expired domain that's relevant to your niche. So your client's at HVAC, you just bought an HVAC expired and have the HVAC links. I just 301 right to the client site and I'm done.
Boom, there you go. And that's been tested by SIA as well, and it seems to work just fine. So that is an option as well. Let's see what else we got here. There are plenty of programs. There are plenty of Hotjar is similar to Crazy Egg. I like Crazy Egg myself personally. Clint is a sneaky mofo. Look at his black hat. You can tell, and his dastardly black mustache. That means he's from the evil universe. He's in the evil universe, and I'm in the good. Well, I've got a beard too, so it doesn't really. We're both in the evil universe. Sorry, we do SEO for a living. What is the limit you consider for buying useful expired domains? 90 days?
Depends on the links that you're getting out of them. If there's some kick-ass links on there, then just buy it and use and 301 it, like I just said. Or 301 it to switch to the filter out. You can find the switch for yourself. And then that way you can turn it on and off as needed.
So Clint, I'm going to ask you a point blank question. Point blank, full truth. Buying these domains, do you ever add one and suddenly the site goes down? Do you think there's any problems with buying domains at all?
Yeah, if you're just buying them ad hoc, like that one that I bought with that Bill found, it had 1 million plus links on it. I'm pretty sure that's going to kill something. But I want to see what happens. So, yeah, there's a point where could get yourself in trouble, like the 301 redirect thing. If you buy 100 of those and redirect to your site, you're going to have problems. Google's going to catch on eventually. So. Have I had any completely
threshold there for Google to catch it?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at pre-qualifying the expires before I buy them. I've had a couple that I had to get rid of because it just didn't do anything. It didn't hurt my site, but it didn't do anything, so there's no sense in keeping it. But you can certainly burn down your site if you want to, if you go nuts. But that's with anything. So,
I know John Mueller has mentioned in Hangouts in the past that Google will put a site, even if it's expired, on their supplemental index for up to 6 months and keep a memory of it for up to 6 months.
Yeah.
I've never tested that. I don't know if that's true. It's just something he said a couple of years ago.
And you can extend that by building links to that redirect. So, your site's on A, you have your redirect to B, you build all the backlinks to that. So if anything happens, again, that's just an insurance policy. Hey, you got a manual penalty, and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to go through all that problems of finding these and removing it. Just boom, the 301's gone. Hey, I took care of them; they're all gone.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Last question for today. Ninja 250-ish asks, is it okay to put a bunch of sites on one Google Search Console account?
Yep.
The White Hat says, of course, because we're doing White Hat stuff, and Google never going to find the stuff we're doing because it's all White Hat. The Black Hat says,
if they're not interlinked, go for it.
Yes.
Yep.
If they're not interlinked, then it's okay to do it. Although there's the stories, the rumors in the industry that when an SEO really pissed Google off, and so they purposely went after all of his stuff, and even if it wasn't interlinked, they checked all the websites that he had in Search Console, and they gave them all a penalty, whether they related to it or not. I don't know if that's an old wives' tale or.
No, that's not a wives' tale. I know the guy that actually happened.
Okay, I would believe it. So don't do something piss off really stupid. Like me, who made a movie about them, which will be released as soon as possible, as soon as I can get the website done. So if suddenly I disappear, you know the reason why. Okay, so this has been the White Hat versus Black Hat SEO show. I would like to thank my panel of questioners. I'd like to thank my co-host, Clint, for being here. I'd like to thank all of you for your questions. As always, if you need more ways to contact us, you can email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com for any kind of audit or SEO consults that you might need. Any SEO questions you have, send them over. I have no problem answering. We can extend the discussion on my White Hat versus Black Hat Skype group. Email me for that as well if you want to join. And I have a conference coming up in summer called the White Hat versus Black Hat Conference, where White Hats and Black Hats will battle for the prize of $5,000 to see what's better, White Hat or Black Hat SEO. If you want to follow us on the show, you can subscribe to YouTube. This is a lot to say, sorry. And you can also follow me on Twitter at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I would like to thank you all for the questions, and tune in next week for another show. And as I always say, good luck in the search. And that's already calling Clint to do work. See you later. Bye.